And I am back with another one. This is not another one. I'm back with another video though. This is my first ever Naruto video, man. We're finna get into this, man. All right, so look, I'm bringing in Dragon Ball and Naruto into this. You know what I'm saying? To this channel, man. So it's not just gonna be One Piece. We keep doing One Piece content as well. We're finna bring it to, you know what I'm saying, other, fan bases and everything like that. Cause I'm a part of it. I'm a part of the Naruto Dragon Ball, you know what I'm saying, fan bases. You know what I'm saying? I'm here. I'm trying with One Piece. So hey, we finna bring in some more fan bases. And this is the Sharingan explained, man. I guess we can't do anything better than we start with this, I guess. So we're gonna get into this video right here.
The Sharingan, the dojutsu of the Uchiha clan, and
All right, hold on, real quick. Hit that like button, man. Comment down below. What do y'all think is the strongest dojutsu? Sharingan, Ketsurogan, Renegon, Tensei Gun, Byakugan, Gun. Nah,
possibly one of the most broken abilities in all of
subscribe,
fiction.
man.
This OP little ability right here made its debut in chapter 12 of the Naruto manga when Kakashi first pulled it out to save Team 7 from Zabuza. The Sharingan's first use was explosive and gave the audience a glimpse of what someone with just one Sharingan could do. Kakashi displayed all sorts of abilities like subtle genjutsu use, the ability to mirror an opponent's movements, the ability to outright copy entire jutsu, and so on. The Sharingan completely turned the tide of the battle in Kakashi's favor, leaving Zabuza decimated and out of commission for over a week. If it wasn't already clear enough, the Sharingan is, or at least has the potential to be, one of the most powerful abilities in the world of Naruto. Even in its earliest stages, the Sharingan is still potent enough to give its user access to some ridiculous abilities, like when Sasuke managed to copy Rock Lee's speed and taijutsu prowess with an incomplete pair of Sharingan, or when Obito managed to see through the camouflage technique of an enemy stone ninja with a pair of Sharingan that he just awakened. Before I get ahead of myself, let me go ahead and give a general breakdown of what the Sharingan is. Its name translates to copy wheel eye, though this name doesn't do a very good job summarizing what the Sharingan can do. Granted, one of the base Sharingan's most notable abilities is the ability to copy any technique the user sees, but there's a lot more to a plain Sharingan than the ability to just copy jutsu.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, that's my first time called copy with it's always Sharingan.
Alone. In essence, the purpose of the base Sharingan is to augment the user's vision and reflexes to an incredible degree, giving them access to dozens of different smaller bonus abilities as a result. Acquisition of the Sharingan, while a bit sporadic and inconsistent in some regards, is at least a pretty straightforward concept to explain at face value. Put simply, attaining the Sharingan is like going Super Saiyan in Dragon Ball Z, in the sense that it awakens in response to a powerful emotional reaction. The emotion doesn't seem to need to be one of any particular kind. It can be stress, a desire to protect, the grief over the death of a loved one, the joy of accomplishing something, and anything in between. Sasuke awakened his...
Alright, bro, okay, so y'all know how Sarada, she awakened hers. I guess she was just under duress or something, or just love or something like that. Why didn't Itachi awaken his like that? It's his word. He always wanted to protect his mother, right? So why didn't he awaken his like?
his Sharingan in response to the annihilation of the Uchiha clan. Obito awakened his Sharingan due to his immense resolve to protect Rin and Kakashi. Sarada awakened her Sharingan in response to the excitement she felt when she learned she might be able to finally meet her father, and the list goes on. Whatever that emotion may be, once the shinobi experiences it, assuming they're in Uchiha of course, their brain will begin to emit a special form of chakra that affects their optic nerves, and the Uchiha's eyes will thereafter evolve into the Sharingan. It is possible for non-Uchiha to acquire the Sharingan under rare circumstances, but this can only be done by transplanting the eyes of an Uchiha who has already unlocked the Sharingan into whoever it is that wants it. Additionally, use of the Sharingan by a non-Uchiha is highly discouraged, as it drains a monstrous amount of chakra and can leave the user's entire body immobile for up to a week. The abilities of the Sharingan all fall under one of two categories, the Eye of Insight and the Eye of Hypnotism, though contrary to what the names imply, these abilities are not literally restricted to one eye or the other. The Eye of Insight focuses on granting the user increased perceptive abilities and is what the Sharingan's famous copy ability stems from. Thanks to the Eye of Insight, users of the Sharingan are capable of seeing chakra in a visible form and can furthermore distinguish the sources of the chakra based on the color the Sharingan labels it with.
Yeah, but everyone's able to do that. Isn't the yes? It's spelled like hypnotism. It's not really like seeing chakra. Every shot can see chakra. So I don't know what he's getting at about that.
The user can also detect irregularities within the chakra being observed, and whether the irregularities are self-inflicted or brought on by outside causes like genjutsu. Adding on to what I mentioned earlier, the Eye of Insight grants the user...
Yeah, pretty much almost every jutsu is able to do that. So I don't know what he's saying that has to do with that specific.
An incredible boost in perception, allowing them to read lips, predict an enemy's oncoming attacks based on muscle movements and tension, perceive and decode incredibly subtle movements like pencil movements from afar in order to learn exactly what someone may be writing, etc. The final noteworthy ability granted by the Eye of Insight is, of course, the Sharingan's ability to copy any technique the user sees, within reason anyway. As long as a Sharingan user is physically capable of performing the jutsu that they wish to copy, they will be able to perform it on their own after seeing it once with the Sharingan. Of course, this means that Kekkei Genkai and other similar abilities cannot be copied, nor can abilities that rely on nature transformations that the Sharingan user has not yet mastered. The abilities granted by the Eye of Hypnotism deal with, as you'd expect, manipulation of a foe's psyche, or in other words, feats related.
I never knew that. Like, you can't copy other nature releases. It's crazy. Well, I guess that's why I should never like that would release. Okay, never mind.
Related to various forms of hypnotism. The most notable of these is the user's ability to use the Sharingan's Genjutsu, simply labeled Genjutsu Sharingan, which, at its most potent, can place a target under the complete control of the Genjutsu caster. Of course, the Sharingan is capable of initiating less extreme forms of Genjutsu, quite a few good examples.
Alright, man, so about this, man, people are saying that, you know what I'm saying, Itachi can beat Goku. No, he cannot. I'm saying he cannot. It's plain and simple, he cannot. Alright, if you want a longer version, down below. I'll give it to you right now, man. Itachi cannot beat Goku, okay? Yes, he can put him under a genjutsu, but will the genjutsu work? No, it will not work. Goku has trained. He got like I forgot specifically what it was called, but he trained in his head and stuff like that. He has telekinesis, all that stuff. He has a pretty powerful mind. And you need a pretty powerful mind to grow in power. Um, Also, he does not need to see, smell, or anything like to sense you. He can do that with ki. So you put him in genjutsu, he will still be able to figure out where you are. See, all it takes is pretty much one punch from Goku. Like it takes one punch, you know, and he gone. All he gotta do is flex his muscles. He gone. All right. Only thing I can like, the only thing I can say that Itachi could probably beat him with, right, is putting him in a genjutsu where it's needles. But how would he know that? You know what I mean? He won't know like Goku's scared of needles, so it's up. Itachi cannot win, even if I try to give him the benefit of the doubt. Like I said, he can't. He won't know his weakness. He can't. He simply just lose. Goku being off guard. If you put him in a genjutsu, he's not gonna be off guard. So you literally have to like stop the fight. That's the only way you can like beat him.
Can actually be seen during Sasuke's fight with Danzo, or less extreme forms of control. The Eye of Hypnotism can subtly coerce targets into giving up important information, or, as seen during the fight between Kakashi and Zabuza, lead targets into performing actions at the will of the Genjutsu caster.
And I'm only saying that because Goku never had got no one ever snuck attacked Goku who was facing him. Okay, every time he got snuck or sneaked him, it's because he wasn't focusing on that
person. When performing the...
Then again, you could say, you know what I'm saying, since he's in that genjutsu, he won't be focusing, you know what I'm saying, on his surroundings. But that genjutsu person, you know what I'm saying, with the illusion won't have chakra. You feel me? So he's looking at won't have like any key, so he's not going to be sensing that person has key, so he's going to be sensing, you know what I'm saying, same thing, that has the same key around him. So then again, Itachi just can't win. He can't be
these
going
minor acts of control, it's possible to keep the person being manipulated completely unaware that they are under the effects of the Sharingan's genjutsu, which dramatically increases the genjutsu's potency and versatility. As I mentioned earlier though, at its most potent, the Eye of Hypnotism allows for absolute, complete control of a person or creature, and the Uchiha are particularly infamous for their use of this ability to hypnotize the nine-tailed fox. Both Obito and Madara have used the Sharingan to fully tame the Kyuubi in the past, and as far as I'm aware, there have been no stated negative side effects for doing something like this. While all of these abilities are available to an Uchiha from the Sharingan's earliest stages, they will only be at their most potent when the Sharingan has fully progressed to its final stage. Luckily for the Uchiha, and the audience for that matter, tracking the progress of the Sharingan is easy and can be done by simply counting the number of tomo present in the eye. 1 tomo indicates that the Sharingan is in its primary stage, 2 indicates it has progressed into its secondary stage, and 3 indicates that the eye has fully evolved. Progressing the Sharingan through these stages is pretty easy, but incredibly time-consuming, as the only known way to evolve a Sharingan is through continued training and use of the dojutsu. The best way to describe it is by comparing it to leveling up in an RPG. The more you use a certain skill, the more proficient you'll become with that skill, and the same is true for the Sharingan. Despite how incredible the abilities of the Eye of Insight and Eye of Hypnotism may be, they pale in comparison to the base Sharingan's ultimate techniques, Izanagi and Izanami. Actually applying these techniques is a bit difficult under normal circumstances, since one use of either technique renders one of the user's Sharingan useless, but the sheer power of both techniques more than makes up for the insane cost. Izanagi is a genjutsu technique that is cast on the user instead of an enemy, and it effectively bridges the gap between reality and illusion while it is active. It gives the user a degree of control over themselves that they would only be able to manage within a genjutsu without actually trapping them in one. Their body remains physically real, but all injuries that they sustain do not. When it first debuted in chapter 476, Don's
Yes, Itachi can use this, but he will only have 2 tries to use this.
repeatedly used it to negate otherwise fatal blows during his battle with Sasuke, effectively putting him in a state of temporary immortality. Put most simply, the primary use for Izanagi is to negate death by rewriting a critical injury or fatal blow as nothing more than an illusion, allowing the user to reappear completely unscathed. When Izanagi was first revealed, it was said that only someone with the DNA of both the Senju and the Uchiha could pull off the genjutsu, but according to Itachi, in the past there were plenty of Uchiha capable of using the technique, so Regardless, the technique is incredibly powerful and can even be set to go off at a particular time or under certain conditions, as seen when Madara set it to go off after his death, allowing him to revive himself after his death at the hands of Hashirama. Izanami, on the other hand, is a genjutsu that, like most others, is meant to be cast on a foe. According to Itachi, Izanami was created to punish Uchiha who would revive himself after his actions, as seen when Madara set it to go off after his death, allowing him
Bro, is that not overpowered? You can have a timer on it to go off when you die. What? What? Bro, nah. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. So pretty much everybody who died, who had a Sharingan, could come back. Hell nah, the plot is crazy.
him to revive himself after his death at the hands of Hashirama. Izanami, on the other hand, is a genjutsu that, like most others, is meant to be cast on a foe. According to Itachi, Izanami was created to punish Uchiha who had abused Izanagi in the past, but like I mentioned before, therein lies a problem, since Uchiha without the DNA of the Senju were originally said to be unable to use Izanagi. So I guess that's not the case. I guess all Uchiha can use Izanagi, and Senju DNA just makes using it easier. But anyway, let me go ahead and explain what Izanami does. Well, Izanagi is the ultimate genjutsu that can be cast on oneself. Izanami is the most powerful genjutsu that can be cast on another person. Now, granted, the technique can only affect one person at a time as far as I'm aware, but it looks to me like a clear-cut instant win technique based on what little the audience has been shown. The specifics of the technique are a bit complicated, so forgive me if I don't do a very good job describing how it works. Izanami is performed by selecting an arbitrary moment using the Sharingan to record the ongoing physical sensations of both the user's body and the target's body during that moment, and then replicating that moment exactly at a later point. This can be done with more than one moment to increase the chance of the genjutsu's success, but that's optional, and again, it only increases the chance that the genjutsu will work. It is not required. Anyhow, once the user has replicated whatever moment or moments they've picked, the target will be trapped in a temporal loop where they will witness the events between the first moment the user specified and the replication of said moment non-stop until the genjutsu ends. Since this is a genjutsu, the temporal loop I just mentioned obviously happens inside the mind of the target, meaning that while they are trapped in Izanami, they are left completely immobile. Furthermore, escaping the genjutsu is impossible, even if the caster dies after Izanami is put into action, until the victim acknowledges their mistakes or takes a closer look at themselves or whatever. It seems to only...
And this will not work as well. You know who he is. He's a bit kind-hearted. He explained it plenty of times. So that just won't work on Goku. It's not a bad person, so pretty much only will work on. You know what I'm saying? People who are good at turning bad. I don't think it'll just work on someone who just always been bad. You know what I'm saying? Evil person. It will just always work. It won't work on someone who's always been evil. For sure not, because they know who they are. So that's all.
Really have an effect on people who aren't good-natured or haven't really found themselves. So if you use it on somebody completely pure of heart like Naruto or whatever, I doubt it would be too effective. But alright, moving on, Izanami can be cast without making direct eye contact, and is instead cast by, well, actually, I'm not exactly sure how a victim is trapped in Izanami, since neither the anime nor the manga explain this, but it worked on Kabuto even after he'd disabled both his eyesight and hearing. And since this is a visual genjutsu, I can't imagine that this would feed off of any of Kabuto's other senses, so... In short, Izanami is incredibly dangerous, an instant win technique like I mentioned earlier. The main downside to both Izanagi and Izanami is, like I mentioned earlier, the fact that just one use of either jutsu will permanently blind the user in one eye, which is a really huge loss considering how many other abilities the Sharingan gives a person access to. In rare cases, it's possible to restore these lost eyes the way Madara Uchiha did, but there are pretty tight restrictions for doing so that's honestly barely even worth mentioning. Now, despite how much I've already covered, I've only scratched the tip of the iceberg here.
Restored. I ain't never heard nothing about no restoring. But I know heard someone's NC Hammer, dude who made Naruto vids. He said that they could use Izanami to recreate another Sharingan. But no one had done that. Maybe Madara's done that. I don't know. That's why he said that. I don't know.
I briefly touched on the evolution of the Sharingan earlier and said that a Sharingan with 3 Tomo is fully evolved. Well, that's not entirely true. See, there exists a super powerful evolution of the Sharingan that only a handful of Uchiha actually possess, and that is the Mangekyo Sharingan. Sadly, this is all I've got time for, but tune in next time to hear me talk about the Mangekyo Sharingan and all of its super crazy powers. Love you all to death and hope to speak with you soon. Swagkage out. Bye.
Hey man, that's much the end of it, man. There's one more. There's actually another evolution to Sharingan as well, besides the Mangekyo. The Renegon is actually another evolution to Sharingan, because the Sharingan is a descendant from the Renegon. But yeah, man, you need the blood chakra. I think it's both of Ender and Ashura. So yeah, there's that. But anyways, man, that's the end of the video. Like I said, comment down below your favorite dojutsu, the like button, subscribe.